He doesn't care how your weekend went. If you invited him to your birthday party, you'd be wasting paper. He's still happy Seton doesn't get to go to Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final. Remember the time he complimented your sweater? Neither do we. He refuses to let you merge when getting on the freeway. His blood type is jerky negative.
You know, I'm not always mean. But when I'm at my meanest, it's on the box score. That starts now, my friends.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer. My motto is simple: C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Power College for box score.
Hello and welcome to the Box Score. I'm Brock in Los Angeles. They are the Danettes out in Milford, Connecticut. Paulie, of course, the meanest Danette. And things got a little zany in the man cave as the meanest Danette. Paulie ran off and tried to pretend to be a good father and went to his daughter's preschool graduation. How was it, bud?
First of all, Brock, it's a veteran move by me, doing that on national radio and television. I look like a really good father. If you can't see behind the scenes, who would know any different? The graduation was good. What I thought was most interesting is I got to listen to a lot of the show going there and coming back, because of course there was traffic. And it kind of felt like, remember when Mr. Keating told everybody to stand on their desks in, what do you call it?
Breakfast?
Dead Poet Society? It was like a different view. I got to hear it differently. McLovin in the chair, he was more active and had a different tone to it. It was really fun to listen to.
McLovin, do you think a preschool graduation is important enough to leave a national radio show for?
I think that's even dumb that you would ask me. Of course it isn't, Brock. Everyone knows that.
Did you attend your daughter's preschool graduation?
No. It was at noon on a Friday, and I did not. I did not even bring it up. Of course, I felt bad about that after Paulie did that, and I did not mention to my wife that Paulie was going to miss work today because that would have caused a lot of problems at home.
I'll tell you, Broccoli, until maybe yesterday morning, I didn't think I was going to go to it. I don't like kind of created things, you know, like one-year-old birthday parties and bounce houses and all that stuff. Sometimes I think it's all overdone. But my daughter gave me the guilt trip the other day, and I thought about it, and then I heard Dan and I were talking about a guy we work with, and he does a lot of things, and he'll tap out if his daughters are involved. I was like, you know what? F it. I'm going to go do it. And it worked out. But I mean, it's very weird because I'm the kind of guy who would make fun of anyone for doing it. I would lay into someone for doing it, which, go get me if you want.
Are one-year-old birthday parties, by the way, a made-up thing? Like, I think that everyone has a birthday that's worthy of celebrating.
I guess what I mean is like when there's a, you know, like a 8,000 square foot bounce house rented, you know,
Well,
that
yeah,
kind of
that's
thing.
kind of silly.
Paulie, what kind of money you have to spend for the graduation party?
Well, we're not having a party per se.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Now, the guilt trip, you know.
Keeping up with the Joneses here.
The Johnsons, Becky and Derek are having a party for their kid.
Ponies at their
ponies
party.
Plural.
Or you're having a party that we're not invited to and you're playing it down right now, because I haven't heard anything.
Believe me, you know me, I'm not having a graduation party. It's a little much.
Okay. After you stepped out, the wheels were set in motion to take advantage of the situation, and shockingly, McLovin was involved. Here's a look at Perloff, the producer, in action.
Kevin Hart on the line.
Thank you, McLovin. Right,
Go to the interview. Go to the interview.
Thank you. No, you're on the air. You're on the air. Fritzy, we okay?
We're still waiting on Kevin.
Oh, okay.
We're still waiting on Kevin Hart. We're still waiting on Kevin Hart.
This isn't going to go well, I don't think. I don't think it's going to go well, McLovin.
Back you off the air. Back you off the air.
Okay, thank you.
Go to McLovin for the poll question.
All right. Rich Eisen will join us.
Man, dude, he was so eager to step in and like, after a little while, I was like, buddy, listen, we don't actually need you to try to do Paul's job. Just sit here, okay, and do your thing. You don't have to do this.
I do like that camera shot revealed like you were the devil on my shoulder right there. See, you're like, tell him this, tell him this. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there may have been some encouragement there. But yeah, all of a sudden, Angie's like, all right, so am I cueing Dan to break here? Am I getting the time? What's going on? I'm like, buddy, I'll do my job. And you just do your job, and don't worry about it. All right.
You could have done your job a little better on one segment that we went a little late. See, and I'm just saying, Rich Eisen ended at 10:50, maybe had only 3 minutes left for the last segment.
Yeah, I mean, Brock, I'll tell you, when I suggested for McLovin jumping in the seat, it wasn't necessarily necessary, But I also thought, like, why not see what's going to happen and give him a chance to do it, have some fun with it, and if it goes wrong, great. If it goes right, great.
Yeah, normal protocol is when Paul's out, we just leave his seat empty, and nobody sits there, and then it just sort of hangs out there. And then today, yeah, Paulie went with a curveball and saying, McLovin, we need you up front. Like, what?
Yeah, mix it up a little.
Paulie, Dan asked McLovin when you were going to return to the show, and he answered, who cares? Any response to that, and will you ever vacate that seat again?
Proud of him for the answer. I think this chair is like osmosis. Mean, snarky stuff just comes out of you when you sit in it. So if he would have said, like, I hope he returns soon, now that doesn't fit this chair. Hopefully never would have been a great answer, and I'm going to be here for the rest of the time. And as far as vacating the chair, you know, if I could shoehorn another 4-year-old, 5-year-old graduation party on a nice sunny Friday, maybe.
Yeah. I'm confident that you will be able to.
I'll try.
Actually.
Let's check out your tweet, Paulie, that you sent out. Why? What's this all about?
Yeah, this is, do you remember the line from Seinfeld where Mr. Jay Peterman says to Elaine when she fills in for him, job done. Not job well done, yeah. Job done.
There was more trouble where you were gone. Kevin Hart was pushed to the last segment of the first hour, which put Dan up against a hard out. Fritzy, would you please explain a hard out to the audience? Be careful.
Hard out, I'll try to give you the non-creepy, pervy version, but a hard out basically is we have to get out by a certain time in the segment, and if we know we're just going to get cut off leading up to the national break, we have to get right, once we get to past a certain point, you know, even if Dan's in the middle of a sentence or in the middle of an interview, regardless of what's going out on the air, we're just going to get cut off, so Dan's up against trying to comfortably wrap up the interview in time before something like that would happen.
Clearly summarized.
So with limited time to talk to Kevin, Seton actually bumped into the segment with play of the day. And judging from the boss's reaction here, he wasn't too happy with that. Seton, if Paulie was there, would that have happened?
I don't know. There's a good chance it would have still happened because I just completely spaced on it for some reason. But that being said, you know, Paulie and I probably, there would have been a little bit more discussion about the interview going into it instead of zero discussion whatsoever. So I still put it at 50-50.
So by that, you're kind of blaming McLovin because he's supposed to be the guy you bounce stuff off.
No, I mean, actually, I'm usually like way better with that kind of stuff where I'm like, oh yeah, we're just going to move this. But for some reason, I was so concerned about getting it ready and getting it out to the TV people, which I didn't end up doing anyway, that I was just like, oh man, we just got to do that. And then I just hit it, and Dan was like, what the hell are you doing? And then I realized what time it was, and we have an interview, and it all sort of came crashing down on me, and I just screwed it up. Man, that was my bad.
Could have been your row partner. We asked Dan if putting McLovin in the front row is a good idea. Let's see what he said in today's edition of Boss's Thoughts.
No, this was a bad idea. And I know it was a big moment for Paulie to see his daughter graduate from preschool, but never should have had McLovin move up to the front row. He's not tech savvy, informationally savvy, plus to see him that close, not aesthetically savvy. Not a good idea. I'd rather leave the chair empty. I'd probably get more out of it than to have McLovin up in that front row.
I choose to just ignore everything Dan says in Boss's Thoughts, so I'm going to move past that. But one thing I did notice, when you're in Paulie's seat, he's talking to you. Like, it's really different. Like, or he's talking to Seton, one of the two, like he's making eye contact. Yeah. We have a much different view. It goes about 50-50, but it's totally, you're engaged in the show in a completely different way. I actually have sat up there before and I knew a little bit about it, but this was not that long, and you really, like, your role, just everything about what you're doing changes in a weird way.
And you run the risk of the dreaded question, what else did I forget to say here? What else we got going on here?
Yeah, that did not go well. But yeah, you have to be more engaged with the show and then different engaged. Like, you sit back here, you can be a sniper a little bit and chime in when you want to. You can't really, I don't know, I'm not sure if it makes sense, but you have to be more present in the front row, which is why they look like they're paying attention all the time.
Well, we also had to stare at you in profile, which isn't good, coming from another guy with a gigantic schnoz. Okay, coming up, is it time to take mock headlines out to the shed and beat them to death? Ounce, ounce, ounce.
I see your mock headlines here with Clayton Kershaw.
Not good? Seaton's already got he's got a whole group together to get this band all together, the whole mock headlines thing.
What do you mean?
Man, it's a lot easier to say this on the box score than it is the Dan Patrick Show.
So what's
Well, maybe we go to Fritzy's mock headlines a little too much, especially since we're not hitting at really a great
okay, but is it
percentage.
entertaining because it's not funny?
At a certain point, doesn't it stop being entertaining because they're always not funny?
Welcome back to the box score.
Always.
Seaton, you took over for Paulie in the second hour as meanest Danette and told Fritzy he should ease up on the mock headlines. Do you feel you guys dogpile on Fritzy a little too much?
Okay. Yes, I do feel like we dogpile on Fritzy too much.
That being said,
But I don't feel like I think in a weird way what I'm trying to do is curb the dogpiling. If we're always setting Fritzy up to do mock headlines, like sometimes, 5 days a week for like stretches upon stretches, it's like, dang man, I can't remember the last time I heard like a good solid list that had everybody busting up. It turns into like the same joke of like, man, Fritzy, these mock headlines weren't funny. Let's move on to the next thing, and then it's like a rip Fritzy fest. So in a bizarre way, in a twisted way, I'm trying to actually curb the dogpiling by putting myself out there as being the meanest Danette.
Yeah, that's an interesting take on what Seaton was trying to do, and I sort of appreciate that. I could probably pick my spots more with the mock headlines. I sometimes may force it a little bit. The idea of just getting ripped all the time. Some rightfully so for some of them. Sometimes I think it's just the the mood of the room at a given moment. Sometimes Dan may have been upset with me about something that happened early in the show, or there's a bad phone line where he's already got the mindset where he's not going to laugh at any of them, even if they're good. But yeah, it doesn't have to be all the time. If there's a really good story or something that's kind of begging for mock headlines, we do it. But I don't think we do it every day. But I think I got to make them a little more pornographic. That seems to get everybody a little more.
Brock, you know what words I heard there over the past 60 seconds? I think I need to probably kind of, sort of, and that's the kind of middle ground. I think that I don't know if Fritzy's going to do anything with this advice from Seaton.
McLovin, you actually stabbed your roommate in the back and said you didn't care for his puns.
Yeah. Well, have you ever, I'm not a mock headline guy. They're funny. They're only funny because you're so funny the way you deliver them.
Yeah.
But generally, there's no other comedian who writes mock headlines that I have any interest in. Like, there's never been a pun that I've laughed at in the history of the planet. And by the way, Dan was a little offended by that too, because Dan enjoys coming up with a good pun too. So Dan was definitely a little PO'd when I said that, I thought. So, I just like, puns. Are there other pun comedians that we like? Who are your favorite comedians? Like Stephen Wright?
Yeah, I like Stephen Wright, I like George Carlin, Chris Rock. But,
George Carlin might do a few of those.
I was disappointed that that this is something that's not that it was boiling up in McLovin all this time, but that's the first I heard.
Have you ever heard me say a nice thing about the mock headline?
I didn't realize you were that against it.
I'm not against them. I'm just neutral.
I'm not into the puns thing and the play on words. I don't really get that. If that went away tomorrow, we'd all be probably better for it.
Maybe part of an interesting. I haven't really fully thought this through yet, so I may very much regret bringing this up. But Fritzy's, there may be a little bit of overexposure going on here, right? Because we go to the mock headlines a lot, to me, and they're all basically the same theme, and a lot of times are pretty much the exact same joke over and over again. And then when we get to football season, we do 16 weeks of the Monday Night Football song, which is basically lyrical mock headlines, same thing. And then we cap it off with a T. Frizzle music video for the Super Bowl, which is essentially a Monday Night Football song, which is essentially mock headlines, lyrically. So maybe it's sort of where Fritzy, we're sort of hitting his same joke.
Are you saying he should take a year off? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe we just...
See, I think Fritzy's musical ability is such a rare find that the Monday Night Football song has an extra value. Just when he does all this and that.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fantastic.
And also the lyrics of the Monday Night Football song are different than the mock headlines. They're bizarre.
I don't know
and
that
weird.
there's ever been a Monday Night Football song without Danny Woodhead's name. I'm just saying.
Even when they're not
divisional rival Danny Woodhead.
Fritzy, I'm getting the feeling that the Danettes are tired of you maybe slowing the show down with your mock headlines, like the time you tried to share your Donald Sterling headlines with David Spade.
Donald Duck, look out, Silver drops the hammer. Masking tape, nowhere to hide with that recording. Clip, clip, hooray, NBA makes racist own up.
Okay. Damn, it's quiet in here.
No, it's good.
That's he's the godfather of snark. That's a tough audience. He lit up Fritzy, and I still have the text Spade sent afterwards. He goes, "Was I too tough on Fritzy? Tell him sorry." I mean, that's, you know, at least he felt bad about it, which, you know, we don't really feel bad about it, but that's a tough audience right there, Brock.
Yeah, I was hoping for a little more love from Spade, but he called it like he saw it. There was I guess, an off day for the mock headlines. Sounds like there's many off days, but you know, you want to improve. You got a comedian in studio.
No, see, that's it. Your best mock headlines don't affect me as much as your worst mock headlines. So it's
you're more entertained by the bad ones. But when someone like David Spade's in studio, you know, you really, you know, you got a big moment there, or a Sandler. You want to be extra funny. You want to impress. You certainly don't want to bomb where they're covering their face like and they're just totally you know, feeling humiliation for you, or like when someone's heckling them, you know, during a stand-up act. That's definitely not the reaction I was hoping for with Spade.
Brock, can I ask a question before we wrap this up? Fritzy, after hearing all this, what do you think you want to do going forward?
I want to continue doing the mock headlines, and sometimes maybe they probably need to be better and dirtier.
They probably need to be better, okay.
And I will work on that.
That's what I don't think, like, it doesn't matter if they're better. They're better. You're never going to impress a Jerry Seinfeld with a mock headline. It's just never going to happen.
Probably
it could be the best mock headline ever.
But I do like amusing you guys, at least, and hopefully the audience finds them, at least at times, somewhat.
Anybody else have that feeling in the pit of their stomach right now? That, like,
then we're going to do this segment again in 4 months.
This is like exactly how I felt when I was trying to get out of going to school in the morning. I have that same feeling. I'm like, oh, this isn't right.
I feel pretty good.
Well, Todd, your Clayton Kershaw headlines were really rough this morning, but the guys tried to make you feel better by supplying some fake laughter the second time around.
Mock headlines: Clayton Kershaw no-hitter last night. Hip hip hooklay. A Kershaw thing. I'm killing it right now. Just the Koufax.
Get out of
comparisons to Sandy are accurate.
Koufax, I got it.
22 caliber. Kershaw shoots down Rocky's bat.
Yeah, his number is 22. Yes. Yeah, I love it. Killing it.
I don't like what you guys are doing. I don't like this.
Oh, man. Well, that was fun, actually. Maybe we should do that for every mock headline thing. I'm going to try a new approach. I'm going to play not just the Benny Hill music. I'm going to play laughter sound effects, and I'm going to over-laugh and really fake laugh it, and maybe that'll help my conscience right now. That's absolutely killing me.
See, and I got to tell you, that's the first time I'm hearing that. I was out, and I think it works. It's kind of like a bad sitcom. There's a laugh. It's a laugh cue. It covers up all the stench. I mean, it's not bad.
Right, I think, and look, even like Fritzy was smiling there. Like, he even cracked, even though we're shredding him now for like the 3rd segment in 2 days, even cracked a smile there during that. Like, all right, this is pretty cool. I think I'm going to go there. I'm going to go positive on it.
It's like comedic Febreze.
Spray it all over this show. Up next, what essentials would the Danettes need for a trip down to Brazil? Maybe a little wax, we'll clean up some things, Fritzy style. Welcome back to the Box Score. Guys, I know it would be the ultimate road trip to head down to the World Cup in Brazil for a road trip, but we can't. So we searched online auctions for some items that might come in handy should we have headed down there. Let's sit back and get ready for another edition of
Worth or Worthless?
All right. We'll show you an item that's sold on an online auction, and you guess how much it was worth within $20. Got it? Good. Okay. McLovin, you're up first. You gotta look the part when you get down to Brazil. So get glowing without waiting. The self-tanning duo gives you an immediate sun-kissed glow that lasts up for 24 hours. McLovin, is it worth or worthless? Give it a shot.
Wow. I hope it's cheap because I'm gonna need 2 of them. $19.99.
You know, you're absolutely right. It's $9.99. You're within the range. $20. Very good. Nice. Our next item is for Fritzy. Worth or worthless, Fritzy? These World Cup yoga pants are awesome. Ooh. Of course, they're not for you. It's just an excuse to look at yoga pants. One size fits all, and they are a limited edition. What's your guess, Fritzy?
I'm going to say $27.79.
I'm not even shocked that you're that close. They're $25.
He owns 4 pair.
One size fits all. To the front row and Seton. You got to have some cold beverages to beat the heat, so check out this custom wood beer dispenser made in Brazil. It uses coil dispensing to immerse your beer in an ice-cold bath. Worth or worthless, Seton?
What kind of wood is that? Do we know?
I'm going to believe Bolivian wormwood.
Oh boy, that's good stuff. I'm gonna go $59.95.
Sorry, just a touch off. It's $119. And finally, Paulie.
Conversion rate.
Now you can pretend you're a champion in one aspect of your life. It's a World Cup replica trophy. It's full size and painted in 24-karat gold paint. How much is this worth, Paulie?
This is tough. And by the way, we just got a note from our management. If any of us get it to the cent, to the penny, and we guess on the screws, DirecTV will buy us that product. So that's really exciting new news. I'm going to go $199.95.
That's way off, and I'm surprised. It's only $65. Wow. I think the line about the paint.
That's not real.
Congrats for the back row. 2 for 2. Coming up, would the man cave ever get rid of its most prized possession? I doubt it.
This is Mike Francesa, and I'm missing the birth of my child to watch the box score.
Welcome back to the Box Score. Our other favorite radio personality, Mike Francesa, a big fan of the show. Paulie, Francesa was interviewing a soccer coach earlier in the week and was shocked to learn that players were able to kick with both legs. Is that par for the course for the casual soccer fan?
A little, but I'm going to actually defend Mike Francesa here. I think he's thinking like an American who watches basketball. And, you know, we assume guys can only shoot with one hand, and or baseball, that most guys can only swing right-handed or left-handed. So I think that's where his framework was on this, and he probably doesn't watch a lot of soccer, so I don't feel as bad as he did. It's open season on people who make fun of who don't know soccer intimately. And this is one of those things that, again, turns people off from getting into it, is that if they say one thing wrong, they're going to be lit up. So I'm going to actually defend Francesa just a little bit.
You've been defended, Mike. McLovin, did you share the poll question with Paulie?
I guess not. The question, do you want Cristiano Ronaldo to play on Sunday against the U.S.? And I said, no way. And Dan said yes.
From my side of that, I'm going to say that I do want him to play. I don't root for anyone to be hurt. I think it's kind of a cowardly way to cheer for your team. That being said, if I got the news today that he's out for that game, I'm celebrating because it's good for the team. But I wouldn't root for it in advance.
I don't see how you can reconcile the two. So you would celebrate, but you're not rooting for it.
Right.
That's kind of an out.
It is a bit of a cop-out, but it's honest. Like, I don't wish him to be out, but if I found it is good news for the USA team.
So don't you want good news for the USA team?
But I can't root for someone to be injured because I think that's kind of a BS attitude for a sports fan to have.
So wouldn't it be a BS attitude to be celebrated then?
No, because it's after the fact. The injury's already happened. I know what you're saying. It's kind of like the same emotion later, but I think to me that matters the timing of it.
But you kind of want to see Ronaldo play too.
I definitely want to see him play.
Yeah.
But once I found out he's out, I'm like, well, you know what? The silver lining is my team has a better chance.
I think you actually need him to play, because if you lose to Portugal with Ronaldo, it's not a big deal. You lost to one of the best players in the world. If you lose to Portugal without it, your team really stinks.
Well, is that true, Paulie? Are they? How good are they without him?
Well, I mean, they're still. I mean, his backup would be a starter and would be the best player on our team.
But I think perception-wise,
sure, you're right.
It's going to be like they didn't even have their star player and we still lost.
I think that would be conventionalism, yeah.
For those concerned with soccer, see, the Redskins topics brought out a lot of takes from Dan Nation. One caller actually suggested taking down the wall of morale because it was offensive. Has that ever been discussed before?
I've seen it on Twitter and stuff like that, and there's been sort of some rumblings of that. I don't know that we've ever actually discussed it here. I think Dan was missing that caller's sarcasm because there was a little bit. He was trying to make a point and was being sarcastic when he said that would be like, now you have to take down the wall of morale. And I think it really bugged Dan that the caller said that. But I don't know that there's ever really been any significant momentum to get rid of it.
Yeah, I hope Tim was being sarcastic because I think that would be extremely un-American to even consider covering that with a curtain or taking down the wall of morale. He also referred to the American icon that is the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. That's like hot dogs and apple pie and Chevrolet and baseball. So I don't know where Tim was coming from or whatever point he was trying to make, but I don't see the wall of morale being knocked down anytime soon.
Because he drives a foreign car, by the way.
Who's on tomorrow?
Lexi Lawless, ESPN soccer analyst, will get us ready for that big Portugal game on Sunday night. And Hall of Famer John Stockton will stop by as well. Doesn't do many interviews, so we look forward to hearing him with Dan tomorrow.
Thanks for watching the Box Score. Set your DVR or tune in weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern only on Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer. My motto is simple. C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Hey, thanks for watching the box score. Holy cow!